Welcome to the Recipe Film and Television Podcast. I am your host, The Red Knight, and this is the podcast that I've been waiting to record. This is the moment that I've been waiting for over a decade. The Avatar 2 trailer has finally arrived. The end of the trilogy, I would probably say, because I don't think we're ever going to get another James Cameron sequel after this. So yes, this is the end of the James Cameron greatest trilogy of sequels of all time, because Alien 2, Terminator 2, and this right here is likely gonna continue that streak and make it the greatest trilogy of all time of sequels. Let that not go unnoticed. First things first, because James Cameron doesn't do this all the time, but when he does it better than anybody else. This trailer wasn't about the story of the movie. This trailer wasn't about even selling you the movie, I feel. This trailer was about reminding everyone, you love Pandora. Pandora is back. Welcome back. And it's going to be bigger, more beautiful, and more varied than ever before. This movie, looks so damn special. Like I knew it always would be. The first one was so special. I love Avatar so much. I actually just finished watching it 2 nights ago again. And watching that movie now, it still looks stunning, beautiful, gorgeous. I wish I had a 4K version. Thankfully, that's coming in September to theaters, and I'm sure it's gonna be on Blu-ray in our homes, and I'm definitely gonna be picking that up. But watching that movie again, and then going back again and watching this trailer, which I've watched, I'm not gonna lie, I've watched this trailer a disgusting amount of time, more than I've watched any trailer in the history of trailer. I think the only trailer I've ever watched more than this was probably that IMAX Final Man of Steel trailer, because it was, one of the greatest trailers of all time. But I've watched this trailer, and the visuals, the leap is there, like it's so there. Because when you go and watch the first movie, it still looks fantastic, like I said. But the leap in visuals is insane. Going from that one to this one. I've been watching the 4K trailer that they released. Funny enough, not on the actual Avatar channel, but it's out there on random trailer websites on YouTube. But I'll put a link in the description below to the actual trailer that I'm watching in 4K. And it's just amazing. The texture of Neytiri's skin in that last shot, when he says the whole line about, wherever our family is, that's our fortress, is basically the only line in the actual trailer. Like I said, this wasn't about giving you story or anything. You can make out things, and we're going to talk about that, obviously, but it wasn't about, putting story in your face. That's later down the line. This was a reminder. And the trailer has already done insane amount of numbers. It's beating every Star Wars trailer ever, you know what I mean? So people care, and I love it, because there was so many times where people who right now are actually gushing about it on videos, oh my god, well, every single time that they mention Avatar, hating on it. Oh, who cares about those people dancing with wolves, just blue space aliens, I don't know, people who have sex with their tails. Like, everybody always wanted to throw shots at it, try to underplay it, when it's incredible. And anyone who thought like, oh yeah, this movie isn't gonna do great, like, it's still number one, right? And it's going to continue to be number one after the September re-release. And this right here is definitely going to go skyrocketing, you know what I mean? Right up there. If you think Avatar 2 is in some way, shape, or form going to underperform, you're crazy. It was never going to do it under 20th Century Fox by itself. But in 20th Century Fox, throughout this, 12, 13 years we've been waiting for this sequel to come out, got bought out by Disney. If you think Disney's not going to put more money behind this than they did even behind Endgame, you're out of your mind. They're going to put more marketing behind this than they will, 3 Endgames combined. And anybody who doesn't believe that, again, you're out of your mind. They're going to go so hard with this, so hard. It's the reason why there's no Star Wars in sight. Get out of here. There's nothing in Marvel in December. It's like, yeah, Thor, you could come out. When is it? Thor is October, November, around there, right? And Avatar got it all to itself for months. And yeah, it's definitely gonna eat, and Disney is gonna make sure that is the thing. And everybody who's hating, they're gonna be sitting there in theaters watching it multiple times the same way they did the first one, because they're the ones who went multiple times to watch the first one. and then want to talk down on it after the fact. Like, yo, that first movie was such an experience in 3D and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really do hope that, and I don't know if they are going to do this, but I really do hope that they actually put this movie out at a higher frame rate. I wish that they did 60 frames in theaters, 8K, because this is shot in 8K, and just 3D and all that. That shit is gonna be a hell of an experience in theaters. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be insane. Like, there's so many shots in this trailer where I'm just like, wow. The whole time, wow. The opening shot, they purposefully, I feel, they purposefully made it resemble the first movie. So you're gonna open right on the Honolulu mountains, but then after, and immediately something throws you off is because you see a human jumping around just like a Navi and not fearing for his life or anything. Honestly, he's like Link from Zelda. It's just carefree. And it's like, dude, one trip, one slip, you're gone. But this guy has all the courage in the world because he doesn't know. He's probably, and I'm talking about one of Jake Sully's kids. He's probably just accustomed to that. Like, he doesn't, even probably see himself as a human. He probably just think, I'm Navi, you know what I'm saying? And this is what we do. We climb goddamn vines. We jump around. Obviously, he's not going to have the strength or the skill set of a Navi 100% because he's a human. He's just smaller. They're more cat-like, so their maneuvering and everything is, I'm going to assume, going to be better than his. But he's up there running around. So you go from that shot, which is similar, but they throw that one quick difference in there. And your mind almost plays tricks on you. Like, oh, yeah, Jake Sully did that. But, oh, no, wait, he was a Navi. He wasn't human running around doing this, even though, yeah, he is a human, originally. It's a whole thing, So the kid, this is one thing. The kid has the markings all over his body. I want to believe that those aren't tattoos, that those are actually like his cat-like Navi, markings, which they all have. So it'd be cool if he came out human, but also got some innate theory in him. You know what I'm saying? So he came out with all the damn, I don't know what you would call those. I guess you could call those birthmarks, right? Or his, birthmarks, which are super beautiful. Yeah, like that whole storyline is very interesting, and immediately you see him actually in all the action shots of this trailer. That kid is in them all, jumping from, all this steel, metal, man-made stuff on Pandora into like this pool of water, probably, that's connected to the ocean to swim away. And, he's face to face with General Quaritch, you know what I mean, from the first movie. That's him as an avatar. You can see the tattoo on him. In the face, you can see it. Like, I instantly on the first viewing made out Travis. I don't know the actor's name from Fear the Walking Dead, but I'm like, that's him with the pregnant girl when there's all those Navis on the water, and he looks like the crazy big, general who is like, dude, when that dude is in the room, you could tell everybody gonna listen to that guy. Yeah, I'm like, that's Travis, you know what I'm saying? Because he actually has that commanding nature about him in real life, like him, the human, you know what I'm saying? He's just a commanding looking dude. And yeah, I was like, that's him. And I was like, oh, I love to see the connection between Walking Dead and James Cameron movies because it's always going towards Walking Dead. Like, we've had John Connor from Terminator 3. We had Kyle Reese recently in the last few episodes of Walking Dead. The producer of all of James Cameron's movies, basically, I forget her name, the lady. She is the producer, creator, and all that of Walking Dead, the show at least, because the creator is obviously Kirkman. But, yeah, like it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, the connection. I feel like I'm missing somebody too. We had John Connor. We had the T-1000. There you go. And we had Reese. It might have been somebody else too that I'm not remembering. But the point is, now we got somebody from Walking Dead making the jump into a James Cameron movie. It's crazy how there's always been that connection. But I would assume, again, the producer lady, she's probably like, yo, I got good actors already on deck from the show I've been working on for the last decade. While you've been doing this, I've been doing that. And we can, mold it together. I'm like, let me find out Rick Grimes in the movie. That'd be fire. Just as a regular human scientist dude. He don't even need to be a Navi. But yeah, Quaritch coming back as a Navi is incredible. Because I've been wondering, how is this actor coming back for the next 4 movies? Right? And I've been wondering what they were going to do with Grace, right, from the first movie, Sigourney Weaver. And supposedly, rumor has it that she's actually not playing the same character. It's just a completely new character that she's playing. And I don't buy that for 1 second. The whole way Grace connected to the world through Aowa, I'm like, Grace is gonna come back. Like honestly, I was watching the trailer, and when that Navi was under the water, and that one shot with the music, the way it swells, like wow, and that Navi is just touching the water, holding on to a whale. I'm like, what if that whale is Grace? You know what I'm saying? Like reincarnated. You never know, because AOI is in everything. So I was like, hey, you never know. This guy's swimming with a crazy looking whale. It just looks so beautiful. That shot of Sully coming out the water, and then the damn, I guess, dragon sea creature just opened its mouth. Ah, I was like, oh my God, this is insane. Insane. It's so damn good, this trailer, that, I mean, I've just had it on repeat since it came out all the time, just watching it. I watch it like twice a day. I ain't even gonna lie. I watch it like twice a day. It's so damn good. There's so many shots in this trailer that I love. And I love the fact that this trailer just makes your mind run with, ideas of what's actually happening. Like, I feel like at the beginning when you're seeing them, what looks like the regular old, from the last movie, Honolulu Mountains, it's like they're leaving, because that shot that it's like a helicopter view, and you're seeing them all flying, all their Banshees got actual bags on them with stuff. So I'm like, oh, they out of here. They going to a whole new area. Obviously, it's going to be far more water-based, and that's why you get the whole line about, wherever we go. It's all good as long as that's where our family is. That's the whole point of this movie. And we saw them, traverse in the first Avatar movie when, Sully had Toru Makto, and he was going around collecting all the tribes. Like, yeah, we're going to go basically destroy these dudes. But yeah, they left humans, and maybe that was a bad idea, because 13 years have passed, and it seems like nothing's really changed. You got, this guy basically now in the Avatar body, Quark, and he's going to be, just, I guess, taking over all the human stuff. I mean, it's the same thing, basically. It's like, he's back, and now he's probably going to be taking control. How are you going to stop him? He was bad as a human. Bad, evil, whatever, however you want to put it. Like, he was just wild as a human. Imagine him in a Navi body. And so the fact that the first shots we actually get of seeing him interacting with, one of our hero characters is actually the human son. And you could tell it's probably one of his cousins, brothers around with him. There's other Navis there with him. But I'm like, damn, this is crazy. And then actually the shot of Quark coming in, I was wondering if the guy that he was walking to is another Navi, was bald and looked actually like Riddick. I was wondering if that was Vin Diesel, because Vin Diesel's actually in these Avatar sequels. I'm like, yo, I just want Leonardo and Arnold to be in the future ones, so that it could just be like a full circle celebration of James Cameron's old movies. Like, yeah, everybody in here. We got Leo, Jack Dawson is in here, and we got the Terminator up in here, because we already got a Rose, like Kate Winslet is in the movie. They didn't. I was trying to spot her, but I couldn't really spot her. But yeah, the underwater sections of this movie, obviously these are real actors. Real situations underwater. Kate Winslet, all these actors were holding their breaths upwards damn near 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So they did a lot of work underwater. It shows. Because, I mean, we saw Aquaman. Aquaman is beautiful. It's such a beautiful movie. That ending is one of the craziest endings in the comic book movie. It's just it's so stunning and beautiful. And it felt like underwater and everything. You watching it, your mind, you believe what the movie is telling you. But when you see this, it's like, there's like no real need for movie magic. You can feel the weight. You can feel the element that is water. And I mean, like in real life, in these fully CGI shots, you can see that, yeah, that is somebody swimming underwater. When the girl is swimming with all those weird looking fishes, and she comes up to the camera with that big cheesy smile that just makes you want to go back to Pandora. I'm like, I can feel the weight of the actor coming up to that, and the camera there, handheld, just like in the first movie, those shots in the forest, even at the beginning of the movie, when Jake Sully jumps off of the helicopter and you seeing all the grass moving right before he does the whole crazy chase scene, and then jumps off the waterfall. All of that feels real. Even in the waterfall, when he goes up to the branch, you feel the handheld camera. Like, you can feel James Cameron in that, I just call it 3D room where they film everything in that 3D space and then put it into digital and all that. Like, you can feel it. You can feel all of it. All the real movie magic. All of it. All of it. All of it. It's so damn beautiful, man. So damn gorgeous. I love everything about this trailer. Everything about it. So, Avatar 2, honestly, I don't even need another trailer. You can just leave it at this, and I'm good. But don't get it twisted. They are gonna drop other trailers, and I will be watching them. But yeah, I hate the fact that we gotta wait because of Star Wars movies. Basically, the way Disney set it up, because they were gonna all be back to back to back, and we would have been done by like 2025. And now the way it's going, we're gonna be done by basically 2028, 2030, because it's basically gonna be Avatar, The Way of Water. Then it's gonna be a Star Wars movie next December. Then it's gonna be Avatar 3. Then it's gonna be a Star Wars movie. Then it's gonna end that December. You know what I mean? Then it's gonna be Avatar 4. And again, this is the way it's gonna continue to Avatar 5. And I'm so happy that we got so many movies in the can already with Avatar, even though it's gonna be, years wait to get to the sequel. After waiting all these years, I'm like, it's fine, and it's just gonna be something that we're gonna enjoy throughout this chunk of our life. It's these Avatar stories, and I'm excited for it. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I love this world. I love Pandora. I love the characters. I love the fact that now we're gonna have all these new characters to meet, kids. The seeds of our heroes from the original movie. Like, I love it. Like, I love the fact that everybody looks older, like Jake Sully with his dreaded hair. And I'm always looking like, oh, who got 5 fingers? Who got 5 fingers? And stuff like that. So it's real cool. Like, I wonder if some of Jake kids, not only if one of them is going to be like human, right? What if that little girl that's under the water who comes up to the camera with the big smile, what if that's not a little girl? What if that's a full adult? But she came out like mixed genetically, so her size, she's not really cat-like. She's more human-like, but she's still blue, and and she has obviously the cat-like features, but she leans kind of evenly human and Navi, so she's just like a blue human in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like that'll be really cool. And she has 5 fingers, let's say. Like, it's little things like that. I'm like always interested in seeing how they're gonna play with it, because again, if you did one kid that came out fully human, more than likely he had to be born. I don't know how these kids are born. I don't know if they come out like little eggs out of the tail, and then they put them in the ground, and then they hatch out of a goddamn. We don't know, right? We don't. But obviously, we see pregnant. We see. I mean, based off the first movie, but we see pregnant Navis in this trailer. So, their birth, I'm gonna assume, is kind of like any other animal, human of Earth. But I still would assume that human baby was probably born, like around humans, because obviously the Navis don't know how to really deal probably with humans, and probably couldn't breathe, because he's wearing a mask all throughout this trailer. He's never just freely running around with no mask. Like, imagine if the little girl could breathe underwater. Well, not a little girl. Let's say she's not a little girl. Let's say she's a full-blown adult, but that girl is blue, can breathe underwater, but can't actually breathe the air of Pandora or something weird like that. Mad crazy. It's like, how babies are born and they can just breathe underwater until you take them out and then they get oxygen. I don't know, something weird like that. You never know how they're going to play with each kid. Each kid can actually have a difference. So I'm just interested in seeing how they're going to do each one, because none of these pregnancies were normal. This is a human who put himself into a clone creation thing that isn't even a real Navi, and then that fake Navi, that bizarro Navi, actually had a baby with a real Navi. And I'm like, but that thing has human DNA based off Jake Sully's twin. It's not even really Jake Sully. It's mad crazy, you know what I'm saying? So when you think about it, all kinds of things could have happened with those pregnancy, and I mean cool things that just make the characters more interesting, and maybe give them rules, where those rules, lead to action beats, lead to scenarios and things like that. Really cool. So there's a lot of interesting things that you can take from this trailer that you can try to like make out, but at the end of the day, we're gonna have to wait till December, and it's coming, man. It's absolutely coming this year. Finally, no more delays, no more waiting. Avatar 2: The Way of Water is a real thing. Come on, we gotta name that. We got a name. We got a teaser. It's happening, man. I cannot wait. But speaking of trailers, let's talk about this Jurassic World Dominion trailer, because this is another movie that I'm super excited for. I love Jurassic Park movies, right? And when 3 came out, I was like, man, it could have been so much better. And I always wanted them to match that weight and realism of the first movie. Like, the first movie just felt like we was watching the documentary and that island really existed. But it was also the first movie. But what I love about Jurassic Park more than anything, I just like seeing people get chased and eaten. I'm gonna be honest, right? Like I love Walking Dead. It's my favorite show on TV, and that's part of the appeal. It's that drama of some shit is always coming to chase you and get you, and it keeps you just entertained as a viewer, right? So it's the reason why I love Jaws. It's the reason why the Blake Lively movie, the shark movie, is my second favorite shark movie of all time. What the hell was the name of that movie? I've only seen it once, and I've always wanted to see it again. I think it was called something like The Shallows or something like that. But it's Blake Lively. It's a shark movie. It wouldn't be hard to find if you wanted to watch it. But it's fire. But the reason why I love those movies is that aspect of being chased and eaten. So Jurassic Park, when, a time of the year comes around that I just feel like I'm in the mood for some Jurassic Park. Oh, I watch all the movies. Back to back to back to back. I just take the week and be like, I'm just going to watch Jurassic Park all this week. And that's what I do. And I do it almost every year. So I love Jurassic Park. And I gotta say, I had another Jurassic Park 3 moment where I was like, oh my God, like I don't know if I like this anymore, but I love Jurassic Park 3 now. I do. I'm entertained watching all these movies all the time. And that's the thing. They have a little longevity that I could just keep coming back to. So that's why over the years, I was like, how can you criticize something that just keeps you entertained and you keep coming back to it? I'm like, dude, you love these movies. Like, even when you nitpick this, that, you love them. And when Blue happened, yes, Blue the Raptor, I was like, well, this is going to be the thing that, ruins everything for me. like now we got pet raptors. And again, watched it. I ain't give a shit. I'm like, yo, this shit is fun, awesome. I love the fact that they connected it to the old movies in a lot of ways. And the sequel came out and you had the clone girl, crazy dinosaurs. I don't care. Do whatever you want. It's all bullshit. It's just dinosaurs and people getting chased and eaten. You gonna deliver on that? I'm with it. Then this one, Dominion, is gonna give us all kinds of throwbacks, and you bringing back all the cast. Wait, whoa. Let me not say all the cast, because they don't got the little girl and the little boy from the first one, who are both grown, both out there. And I know the kid, the dude, he's willing to do it because he said as much years ago, like, yeah, they never call me, they never reach out, but I'm down. And I'm like, why you don't bring them back? Bring back the goddamn kids. But anyway, or at least cut to them, you know what I'm saying, and show them, because now it's the whole world. This is Dominion. The whole world is, the shots in this trailer is dinosaurs where they don't belong. Dinosaurs where you would have never expected to see them. There's dinosaurs flying around New York, all kinds of things. I'm like, this is crazy. I can't even imagine what this movie's gonna be like because there's dinosaurs everywhere. And all I know is it's gonna be mad fun. Like, it has to be, because that once you make that the rule, and obviously when little girl made the decision in the last movie to let all the dinosaurs free, causing, Dominion, the whole world, to be taken over, Jurassic World. I was like, the next movie automatically is going to look nuts. And this next movie looks nuts, from giant dinosaur face-offs to human interactions with the dinosaur. That shot of them on the motorcycle being chased is insane. There's a couple shots in there where she uses the bar and like clotheslines of things. So I'm like, I'm going to be having such a good time watching them, get chased. Obviously, they ain't going to get eaten, but it's going to be fun watching them get chased. And people around them going to be getting eaten for sure. I was like, yo, this movie looks crazy. All the shots like of the old actors, I'm like, they look so good. They look so good. There's a shot of what's her name, Laura Dern, right, where she's like screaming real crazy. I'm like, don't tell me they killed the dude from part 1. Don't do this to me, man. He don't deserve to die. This dude never wants to come back to these islands. I was about to say, I don't even know how to get him here. It's not an island no more. It's the whole world. He has no choice. They brought the shit to his goddamn backyard. So he's like, yeah, I'm down. What else can I do? But it's like, yeah, you can never, like they said, you can never put the, top back on it. You can never put all the toys back in the box. They out, they free, they running around, The story of Blue's baby getting taken, and obviously now, the characters of the last movie, everybody's together. They're raising a little clone girl as their own, so that's his daughter. So Blue can relate to the main character of the movie, but they kidnap, his baby. And I'm assuming that they were always trying to find Blue, because Blue is mad smart and all that. But Blue comes back and basically, is upset and telling them like, "Yo, find my baby." He's like, "I'm gonna find your baby," and then like whips at him or something. You can't really see what it does, whether it bites at him or like whips his tail at him. I'm assuming it whips his tail at him, muchacho, coño, you know what I mean? Like, and you better find my kid. And anyway, uh, interesting story, and I love the fact that in the trailer, you got Jeff Goldblum going like, "Hold on, so you made a promise?" He said something along those lines, like, "You made a promise to a raptor." Like, and it's like, yeah, that's exactly what the audience is gonna be thinking. Like, this is ridiculous, but who cares? It's all ridiculous. It's dinosaurs, and it's just fun, man. You're gonna have a good time watching this movie for sure. And it's gonna have a lot of callbacks. I love the fact that they compare it to like an end game of Jurassic Park, and I'm like, cool, you can end it here, and then you can reboot. I mean, because they're not gonna stop making Jurassic Park movies. I don't know if you know, but it's Universal, right? Yeah, Jurassic Park. Yeah, the monster universe didn't work. They're gonna keep making Jurassic Park movies. That's for sure. But Jurassic Park as a reboot, I'm fine with it. Like, I don't want a retreat of the first movie, but again, if they're gonna reboot the whole thing, I'm fine with it. But honestly, you can just in the future, I guess, just make a reboot within the continuity of these, because that's like something that they do now. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna reboot this thing, but we're not erasing what came before. We're just gonna continue, and it's gonna be like a new story or maybe new characters within that world. So there's a lot of things that they could do. Obviously, new characters, and maybe depending on how this movie ends, maybe they'll leave it Jurassic World, or maybe somehow, some way, they manage to get rid of all the dinosaurs. I don't know how you're gonna do that, because I know these dinosaurs have been all around making babies, all kinds of shit. There's eggs everywhere. Ain't no way you could make a storyline, in my opinion, where you wrap everything up in the perfect bow so that they can come back and say, oh yeah, guess what? Somebody's making a new park, and this time we're gonna do it right, and we won't have a Jurassic World situation. Personally, I think instead of doing like a soft, reboot where it's like still in continuity, you hard reboot Jurassic Park, and I don't think people gonna care. People will be perfectly fine with it, excited about it. Why not? It's like you told this version of the story, and now you can do a new thing. You know how Hollywood do. They'll be like Jurassic, and there's like no parking. It's just called Jurassic. It's the origin before the park. I don't want that shit. But again, if it involves some people getting chased and eaten, we gonna get some dinosaurs. Sure, why not? I mean, what other dinosaur franchises do we got that isn't some like sci-fi channel, super fake looking visuals? There's nothing out there. It's just Jurassic Park. So I'm going to always be hype, excited for brand new Jurassic Park movies. Yeah, and I think you should be too. Because why not, man? So yeah, Jurassic Park, June 10th is going to be good. It's right around the corner. I can't wait for it. Cannot wait. So now let's talk about some TV news before I get to my review of Spider-Man No Way Home and wrap this thing up. So The Walking Dead, right? There's a lot of spin-offs. The main series is ending. Fear the Walking Dead is still on. Tales of the Walking Dead is coming out this summer once Fear this season wraps up. And then they'll continue filming Fear. They're actually going to move from where they're filming now to Atlanta. I guess take over the spot where the main Walking Dead show filmed. Fear is basically not a main show. But we have Walking Dead World Beyond, which the ending of that show teased that in Europe, there's actually World War Z style zombies, because they try to make a vaccine over there and it didn't work, and so it just basically made crazier rage induced smarter zombies. That's what they tease at the end of Walking Dead World Beyond, the spinoff show, which was 2 seasons, and it was good. So they announced that Daryl, Norman Reedus, is actually going to go overseas in this new show, in the spinoff that they announced, which was going to be Daryl and Carol. They also announced a spinoff, Walking Dead, Isle of the Dead. I think it's just called Isle of the Dead, actually. It's not Walking Dead. It's just Isle of the Dead, but it stars Negan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and Maggie, what's Lauren Cohen. And that's going to be a separate thing. That's going to take place in New York. So that's going to be regular Walking Dead, walking regular zombies. But it's going to be interesting. Why Negan and Maggie, 2 characters who completely hate each other, on this journey together. I have my theories. Maybe Herschel, Maggie's son, gets kidnapped, and that's why they're on the journey. Maybe actually Herschel and Negan's wife get kidnapped, and that's why they go together to find their family, something like that. So it's like 2 enemies got to go on this journey together, and who can they trust but themselves? Because, well, they have history. They know each other, sadly. So you got that spinoff, but the Carol and Daryl spinoff, nobody actually knew where it was going to take place. There was not much information. They didn't have a name yet. So when the show ended, actress who plays Carol decided that she wants to take time off. She's still going to do Walking Dead because there's a bunch of spin-offs being made. This is an actual universe that actually worked like the MCU. So it's still going. There's a lot of stuff going. And it's been going since 2000. You know what I mean? Since before the MCU, Walking Dead has been a thing, thriving, popping, popular. You know? So she's going to take a break. They're obviously going to find other ways to fit her in into other shows. Maybe she'll end up in New York and be on that Maggie Negan show. Maybe she'll be in the Tales episode. There's a lot of options for her. And they made that clear. But the internet, of course, being the internet, and when I tell you the internet being the internet, man, I can give you scenarios right now happening fresh with a little girl from the Percy Jackson show that's coming to Disney, which I'm excited for. They announced her as a new Annabelle. She's black. Of course, the internet gonna do what they do, the same thing that they did to the Batgirl casting when they got Jarvis Leslie. You know what I'm saying? Her to be Batwoman. You know what I'm saying? Hell, even Batgirl getting it. They got a Dominican girl to be a Batgirl in the new movies, and people was, again, with the racist stuff about that. Once people see color, you already know what they do. And it's not people. You know who do this, right? So once they see color, they go crazy. And even to a little 12, 13-year-old girl, they bombarding with crazy racist remarks. I even saw Alexandria Daddario, who played the original character in the movies. You know what I mean? Played the character originally in the movies. She came out in support of her. Again, Batwoman came out in support of her. A bunch of actors who went through the same kind of bullshit came out in support of her. But then what was crazy about this Walking Dead situation, it's like this actress who's given us like she's been there from episode 1 to now. Carol, the character. She's given us over a decade of this character. Fire character, one of the greatest characters ever written in the history of writing characters, basically. Seeing what this character went through and then became, it's been a beautiful journey. I mean, absolutely stunning. From moments where she wanted to give up to fighting through it. Just beautiful. From multiple children in her life being taken from her and her pushing through it. Amazing character. I know why people love Carol. But her leaving the show and saying, yeah, I'm not going to do that one because I don't want to relocate to Europe, because that's what Norman Reedus has to do for basically like 4 or 5 months. He's going to go this summer. He's going to relocate over there. So she wants a break. They just finished making the show. Whatever reason is her own personal reason. She don't got to explain. You understand? So the internet, of course, starts attacking Norman Reedus, blaming him. Not her, blaming him. Saying he the worst. So they turn their back on literally the fan favorite Walking Dead character with no kind of justification. And these aren't real fans. These are the worst kinds of fans. And all fandoms got them. Whether you're talking PlayStation, Star Wars, Xbox, Nintendo, Marvel, DC, all fan bases have them. You know what I mean? Like DC fans right now, there's a whole bunch of toxic fans, and they're definitely not the Zack Snyder fans, let's be clear. But all fandoms got them. And I hope that, you know, in the future, this can stop where actor gets cast and then people automatically want to bombard them because they don't, look the part. Oh, their boobs is not big enough. Remember they did that to Gal Gadot with Wonder Woman. The character's originally white. The character is originally a man. You know, just all of this stuff. Like, I just wish it stops. Because at the end of the day, it's real people behind this stuff, and it's all make-believe bullshit, and then people just be attacking people over the craziest stuff, and it's mad disrespectful, you know what I'm saying? And I be feeling like, listen, a lot of these platforms, man, they could be banning these people, banning full IP addresses and all that, because it do be racism, it do be attacking people, all kinds of levels are fucked up, and they just let them get a pass, and it's crazy to me, and just get normalized. I know people say, oh yeah, they can just make other accounts. I'm like, listen, man, if you banning full IP addresses, I'm like, how that work, and how most of these people are actually gonna do it? And even if they do, still, it'd be still nice to just get them banned, so that maybe that'll make them see, like, yeah, matter of fact, I don't want to keep making new accounts. Let me just not be a fucking asshole online. I don't know, but I do want to see it stop. So now I want to talk about this actual Walking Dead spinoff show with Daryl. Never would I thought in a million years at the end of watching World Beyond that the first character that was actually going to deal with running walkers, not regular walkers, like, this ain't the Walking Dead, this is the Running Dead. Never would I thought it would have been Daryl. Them crossbows, man, they gonna still come in, the arrows and all that with the crossbow, they're gonna come in handy. The 2 blades, absolutely. I'm just talking about his weapons that he used. But yeah, we definitely gonna have to see him more with the energy that he had in this last half of this season, where he had, that goddamn, giant ass, machine gun talking about, just dropping f bombs. Put it like that. That's the dad we're gonna have to see more of in that show, because these running walkers, you're at the end of World Beyond. The walker that teased these faster walkers, that thing was strong as hell. Like, it was banging on a steel bunker, and it was kind of denting a bit. It looked like a tiny, tiny bit from its side, not the other side so much, And I was just like, yo, you ain't hiding in those regular rinky dinky cabins we be finding all over, the areas we be in these Walking Dead shows. If you got 10 walkers, or should I call them runners? They getting in there. So you're going to have to kill. This is going to be insane, because the way Walking Dead handles zombies, it's better than anything zombie ever created. Like, my favorite zombie film of all time is actually Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. And I love Train to Busan a lot. The anime was good also. The sequel was also, what was it? Peninsula. That one was cool too. But my favorite zombie thing, I love, loved like the classic Dawn of the Dead and stuff like that. But Zack Snyder Dawn of the Dead was like, yo, crazy. And I do love what he's doing right now with his Army series, and the way it's playing with time is really cool. And having different kinds of zombies in there, but it's aliens. There's all kinds of stuff in that universe. But Walking Dead is the grade A, greatest ever zombie thing ever made. Hell, it's one of the greatest shows ever made, period. And this is the reason why it's one of the longest running shows out there, But anyway, I say all that just to say, when they do running zombies, I know it's going to be crazy, because they've had years of just playing with slow zombies. And yeah, they can do hordes where they can start piling up and it's a lot of fast action and crazy stuff going on in the show. Yeah, of course. But to have actual running zombies, it's going to be a whole different ballgame. And understand, none of our main Walking Dead characters are spring chickens. They ain't going to be out here, 20-year-olds running around and just being able to run for a long amount of time. A lot of these characters are older. So even them interacting with running zombies is going to be crazy. Like, I don't know how they're going to adapt the style of this show to running zombies, but I cannot wait to see them do it, because I know they're going to do it right. They always manage to just surprise me with how they manage to achieve just different twists and turns and how to use the zombie property and continue to make it interesting and just different ideas with it. Hell, this last season they had an episode where it wasn't even zombies. It was people who just were living like zombies, basically, in this like horror house, and it was mad scary, and it was super cool the way they did that episode. I loved it. The name of that episode was actually Inside, if I'm not mistaken. It's called Inside, and it was amazing. You could just watch it like a standalone movie. It's mad scary. It's mad crazy, and yeah, the stuff that they do with that, I was like, that was humans running around kind of looking like zombies. I couldn't only imagine what they're going to do when they're actually doing crazy, ugly-ass zombies who are running around. And I think it's something that they should definitely keep across the ocean. Like, you can keep slow walkers here. It's like walkers here, runners over there. And then you could do all kinds of fun stories. You can do future seasons of Tales of the Walking Dead, and it could take place over there with running zombies. Then you could do walking ones. So then you can have different creators, different storytellers come in and say, oh, what kind of zombie thing you want to tell? We got two options here. And just make it so that nobody ever does the bullshit where, oh, a plane, and now, the running zombies are everywhere. Or a boat, and now the running zombies are everywhere. Like, just cross the ocean. Just don't have them do that, and you can keep it separate. So you can have these two different styles, Because I almost forgot to mention, I needed to say this. The other show, obviously now, that's an absolute banger is Black Summer on Netflix. Black Summer as a zombie show, it's incredible, because it feels like a one-take Charlie, basically. You press play, and it's a story from beginning to end. It feels like it doesn't even have cuts, in the sense. It's like you're just with these characters for these moments, and that's one season. And then you just start the next season, like a few, days or hours or maybe weeks after the first season, and then you're just stuck with them for, the whole time watching. There's no cuts. There's no 3 weeks later. It's just, and then the season ends. And it's like you just sit there waiting for season 3. And boy, am I waiting for season 3. Black Summer is amazing, incredible. If you like zombie stuff, definitely give that a shot. So yeah, I'm excited for the future of Walking Dead. I'm excited for these spin-offs, and I'm of course disappointed in the internet and their ways. But yeah, CW. Let's talk about the CW real quick because I was gonna listen. I was gonna talk about this regardless, but by the time I came to record this segment was originally about the superhero shows all being canceled, except the Flash. Basically, it's like the Flash and I don't know. I think it's just the Flash that's still there. Oh yeah, Superman. Superman, Lois and Clark, whatever. I don't watch that show, but that show. Here's the thing: I used to watch all these DC shows on the CW, but then I stopped about I want to say 3 years ago, and I prefer the Netflix Marvel style of shows where you just get 10 episodes, banger, boom, or even like the HBO Max shows, what they doing now with like Doom Patrol or something. They just do a quick 10 episodes, and just put that out there. Like to me, it's way better than doing 22 episodes drawn out. There's CW style shows that works for, right? And I know that that's based off the old Dawson's Creek, Buffy, which started that style of television show on WB. And then obviously One Tree Hill. And there's shows that can continue to be that. But these superhero shows don't work like those kinds of shows with the teen drama and all that. It kind of dilutes the show, you know what I'm saying, from being focused on the heroics and stuff like that. And I feel like the Netflix like Daredevil, Punisher shows never had to worry about stuff like that because it wasn't, oh yeah, we got to fill in these 22 episodes. So all those shows being canceled, I already stopped watching them. Was I sad? Yeah, of course. I'm sad for DC fans who love those shows, like I did at one point. And like now they don't have those shows really to look forward to. Like yeah, you got the Flash and you got the Superman show that's on there. But for the most part now, you want to watch superhero stuff, you're going to have to get HBO Max. Clearly, that's what it's going to be. HBO Max is where you go for DC shows. Which is fine because I assume you're going to get higher quality, higher budget, and stuff like that. Hell, I'm hoping with the announcement that they're doing Gotham Knights, not to be confused with the game, but it is basically the same thing. They're doing Gotham Knights. And I know one of the actors from Supernatural is actually going to be Two-Face in that show. Well, at least Harvey Dent in the first season. But they're doing Gotham Knights, so hopefully that'll be like 12 episodes, 13 episodes instead of the 22, and it could just be a bigger budget since they're not producing a ton of shows no more, and just hone in on the good, and that could be entertaining. That could even bring me back to be like, you know what, I'm going to check that out because it's easier to consume, right? It's not 22 episodes. It's not waiting, damn near a year for the first half, to, go on break, then come back for the next half, right? So maybe we'll get higher quality TV universe to replace the current one. But that was the superhero stuff. That was when the superhero stuff got canceled. But now they went in and canceled everything like 2 days ago. Everything. Like they canceled the Vampire Diary universe. This is a universe that I've watched from when it began to now, basically. And they canceled. Like it's over. It's ending. Like the end. It all ends with hope. It all ends with legacy. It's done. And I'm like, damn, end of an era. It's all good because the creator of the show, who I've been following since back in the Dawson's days, Julie Plec, you know what I'm saying, and Kevin Williamson, like they got a show that they're making. I forget where they're making. It might be, I don't remember where. I don't even want to pretend to guess, but it's on one of these apps out there, and it's gonna be horror based, so that should be fun. He's done Scream and stuff like that. And I know what you did last summer. He knows how to do good horror stuff. Not saying he doesn't miss that Wolf movie he did with Christina Ricci and Joshua Jackson back in the day was woof. But I'm looking forward to what they do. Them as a team, they always do good stuff. And then I know that she's actually working with my boy Stefan, the best goddamn brother. Sorry, Damon fans, but yeah, she's making a show with him on Netflix. So I'm like, yeah, she good, she eating. You know what I'm saying? But it's still disappointing to see a lot of people, lose out on all this work. It's the same thing with Netflix. Like, Stranger Things coming up. I'm super excited about that. I'm obviously going to be reviewing that on the next one, the next damn film and television podcast. So, subscribe to the recipe for that. But I'm disappointed that when in the month that comes out, Netflix is firing mad people, and it's nobody's fault but their own because they charge for 4K when nobody else charged. Not Prime, not Disney. Disney's goddamn $8. They're gonna do a cheaper tier with ads. I'm like, what's cheaper? What you gonna charge? $3? Crazy, but they want to get everybody, and they will doing that. And Netflix, they don't want to drop price. They want to be $27. They're like, yo, y'all reaching cable levels, and y'all don't even got Friends no more. Y'all got a lot of the shows that used to be the things that people would sit there and just binge over and over. A lot of that HBO Max. Warner Brothers owns a lot. They took all of that. You know what I'm saying? And then Disney took all of their Marvel stuff. So what actually made Netflix like, it's Netflix is still awesome. It still has its appeal. Obviously, I'm still a member. I've been a member of Netflix since it began and never ever let my subscription stop. And not on Nintendo no time soon. But and they still got banging shows. They just did. I mean, so many good shows. And there's a lot of good shows that I'm looking forward to coming back. Not only Stranger Things, but yeah, it's disappointing to see, people get fired no matter what. So Stranger Things coming out, people getting fired, and then obviously, seeing people get fired from the CW is disappointing. But what I was happy about, the good news in this is that my favorite show, the only show that I still watch on the CW, my second favorite show other than Walking Dead, All American, and it's amazing spinoff show, Homecoming. Homecoming is so fire. Like, if you don't watch All American, I'm telling you, go on Netflix tonight, right, and watch the first 3 episodes or 2. And if you don't go back to watch it, then all right, maybe I'm crazy. But that show is fire. Fire. I love it. I love the heart of that show. I love the themes of that show. I love the energy of that show. I love the cast of that show. I love all of it. Like, I love it. I love it. Even though Coop be getting me tight with the decisions she be making, I love Coop to death. Like, that actress, you know what I'm saying? I love her. Like, I love all these actors. Like, it's fire. And then the spinoff is so good. Even though the star of the show went on the other show and she did some shit that I didn't like. But yeah, they be bouncing between both shows. And yeah, it's cool, man. It's so cool. So that show is still alive. They just announced that those are getting new seasons and all that. I'm like, those kept the legacy of the Dawsons, of the Tree Hill. That's that. So if you love those shows, this is that. And I love it even more because, well, I could see myself in these shows. You know what I'm saying? And I grew up loving all those shows, but you can't deny that all those shows were full, basically, white cast. Like, yeah, you had Skills and One Tree Hill, but for the most part, the cast was white. You know what I'm saying? And All American, it's the other way around, and it's beautiful to see it because it's not like one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, All American, oh yeah, it's a black show, so it got to go on BET or something like that. Nah, this shit is on the CW, and I can't tell you how much I love the fact that it's on the CW, and these are the stories that are being told now on the CW. So people who wasn't seeing, this in real life, especially like season 1 and 2, where it was a lot more involved with like the street aspects of the culture and stuff like that. And now we're, rising up out of it and onto, way brighter things. Like, I love that contrast, and I love the fact that people get to see the culture in this setting and under these lights. You know what I'm saying? Where I feel like usually this would never be the case. So to me, this show was super special, and I can't recommend it enough. And I do recommend, you take the time, go out and watch an episode, you know what I'm saying, of All American, and judge for yourself, because it's super good. And it not being canceled, it's honestly a blessing, because the world needs a show like this, period. Like, when this show came out and I saw it, I was like, I've been waiting for this for so long, for a little while now. Like, I've been saying, like, CW been on all this superhero shit, and I'm like, where's the real shit? Like, I know they got other things there, like Dynasty and, what was it, Into the Dark, like these other weird shows that are on the CW. And Riverdale is a weird ass show, you know what I'm saying? Like, I watched, I think, the first season, tapped out on the second season. But All American, it's real, it's raw, and it's, dare I say, important. It's mad important. Because listen, when I was, 10, 11, 12, 13, whatever, watching like Buffy on WB and Dawson's Creek and stuff like that, like, man, I can't imagine if I had, All American at that time. That would have been so cool to actually see. Like, when you wanted to see the culture, you had to go to basically Family Matters. When I had to see what I was seeing outside, I had to go to Martin. You know what I'm saying? I had to go to Fresh Prince, in a sense. At least the way they talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I damn sure wasn't in the mansion in Bel Air. But you get what I mean. Uh, it's just important, to have a lot of different kinds of shows out there. And honestly, the last one that CW did that was like real and telling like important themes was honestly Jane the Virgin. Jane the Virgin was fire, and it's fire. You can still watch it. It's right there. It didn't disappear. It's fire. So yeah, I'm happy that All American, you know what I'm saying, is on and continuing. And I think, look, all the cancelings of the CW shows, I think that's just a sign of the times where a lot of things are moving to streaming. You seeing that with Paramount now. A lot of their stuff is just like CBS shows are being billed as basically Paramount shows on CBS versus it being the other way around. And again, that's just the times now. They're trying to give higher budgets, which in turn equals hopefully higher quality shows. At least visually they'll be. Stories, money ain't gonna make a trash story good, but it damn sure make it look pretty. We're gonna be getting a lot more prettier shows. Hopefully there'll be good stories too behind the fact that these companies won't be stretching themselves too thin with all these different shows, thousands of episodes and hours of TV. You know what I mean? And it's like, who could keep up with all this? Like Greg Berlanti, man, he been doing this since, again, Buffy and the Dawson's, since back then. This dude name is on all those old shows. I've been seeing this dude name my whole life, basically. But it's like, at some point, that dude, I was like, yo, he got to be being stretched thin, because now he's doing stuff on HBO Max. You can't be running HBO Max, basically, and the CW, two networks that both have multiple different shows. Like, you going to just, listen, there's a reason why Kevin Feige focuses mostly on cinematic universe. You know what I'm saying? And now they're doing the TV thing, but it's in such a cinematic fashion that it's easy, I guess, I'm not going to say it's easy, but the formula has been laid out for it to be easier for him to accomplish the thing. Whereas DC is all over the place. Their universe went kaput and it's all their fault. The suits over there. Then you got Discovery who bought them out, and now they probably trying to push shit back together. And they're like, well, Zach went over there. He making Rebel Moon. He doing 2 back-to-backs. Netflix actually backed a dude who actually makes popular movies. How smart are they? These dumbasses who we had here before. They firing those dumbasses who they had there before. You seeing it in the news right now. Go on any movie website, you're going to see people from WB, whether it was this week, yesterday, last week. It's happening all the time now. They cleaning the house over there. And yeah, I'm sure they're trying to get all their ducks in a row and try to salvage whatever they could right now, because what a mess, man. What a mess. And it was a self-made mess by a bunch of self-indulgent, out of touch. Just wow. I don't even want to go in on that. But anyway, speaking of superhero stuff, sad day for the CW, but I'm sure it'll rise. Listen, man, WB been going forever. Like, WB done lived through, so many different network things, whether, I ain't even gonna go down the list. WB, yeah, it changed to CW, but the damn thing's been consistent. I don't see that going nowhere anytime soon. I think it was about time that those shows basically got canceled. Honestly, I really do. I think they were long past their expiration date, and they were just like a ghost of a time that was way cooler. It's like the even the cinematic DC universe is in such shambles right now, and people could want to pretend like it's not. It's like, yeah, that had to affect the CW also. It's like, this is a mess over here. This is like right here, and it's just floating by. Like, it's just a weird situation. So I can't blame them for wanting to just cancel things and start fresh and do hopefully new, exciting things that can excite that same audience and the audience that went away, like myself, and an audience they never have. Like, you can just grow a completely new audience. I'm sure Discovery wants to try their own hand with their own ideas, and they want to utilize their brand new toys, their brand new IPs the way that they want. So can't really blame them. Now, Spider-Man, No Way Home. I always want to say Far From Home. No Way Home. Finally watched this movie. And just to be clear, when it comes to Spider-Man movies, this is the way it goes. Well, at least for me personally, my Spider-Man movie taste. I love Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi's movies. Uh, yeah, that's it. And this movie, I absolutely love. So this really completed my Spider-Man trilogy. You know, for me personally, of Spider-Man movies that I actually enjoy. You want to know why I really love this movie though? Because it made all those other movies that I didn't enjoy matter in the MCU, which is mwah, chef's kiss, water feet that they did that. But they actually made those movies less bad in a sense that now, where those characters' journeys end, is in a really cool, scenario, banging movie, but just a really cool scenario for them. Like, and I say cool because it's just nice. Who would have thought that we would have got such a nice moment with these old Spider-Mans? I would have never guessed it in a million years, but they did it and they nailed it. Like, I loved everything about this as a Spider-Man movie. I felt so happy watching this movie. I was like, yo, like this is just what I wanted from Tom Holland. I was like, I wanted a Spider-Man movie that felt like Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like it in all the ways that the other movies just didn't. To me personally, this movie it did it, man. Like the nostalgia, just through the roof, through the roof, through the roof, and yeah, I love the way that all that nostalgia, like I said, fixes the past, but it also serves the present. Like, for example, the most heartbreaking story in this movie, the Aunt May story. Like, that happening now, had these two other Spider-Mans never been there, I truly do believe, after everything, after Endgame, after Iron Man, after everything, and I mean Iron Man dying, you know what I'm saying? Like, after everything, I truly believe Tom Holland's Spider-Man would have became BVS Batman. Which, funny enough, if you listen to what Andrew Garfield Spider-Man said, the Amazing Spider-Man, I'll just call him that for now, right? That one, the Amazing Spider-Man, he actually, said he stopped pulling his punches. So you gotta consider this dude was bodying people. Probably like, I ain't gonna web that dude. That dude just gonna splat. I don't care. Like, yo, I lost my girl, and I'm like, that's crazy. So him seeing a version of himself that has a Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane. Potentially, I'm gonna have a Mary Jane because this Spider-Man here, mainline Spider-Man, real. I don't want to say real because we're all real Spider-Man. OG Spider-Man. There you go. So we got Amazing. You already know who that is, and OG will be Tobey Maguire. So OG Spider-Man is like he had a Mary Jane. So maybe there's one out there for me. And boy, I was feeling like that because when the movie was done, I was like, yo, I want a Spider-Man movie. And out of all of them, it's the Spider-Man who I least enjoyed, which was the Amazing one. And I'm like, I want a movie where he finds his Mary Jane and he finds love. And I want to see how the world actually reacts to a Spider-Man who for the last few years been straight crazy, wild, violent, more black suit Spider-Man than anything else, even though he was still in the regular Spider-Man suit. Like, yeah, even his shot when he came out that alley, like how dark it was mad cool the way they did the whole thing. Yeah, but Aunt May's story, the way that they killed her, and listen, when they was trying to tease her like she was good and she was standing up and she was talking to him, I was like, yo, that shit done ripped through. I know it didn't rip in half, but that the way that hit her, I said, no way she's surviving this. So when she died, I was like, I knew she was gonna die right here. But anyway, the fact that she actually gave the line, with great power comes great responsibility, I love that. I thought that was awesome, and when he finally says it, OG Spider-Man finishes the line. And I thought, oh, they both do finish it, something like that. It was cool as hell. And the fact that he had these older brother-like, father figure-like people who have gone through his same experience already there to help him through this moment when he had his big, great loss. And OG goes, yo, chill. Like, I lost my Uncle Ben. Your aunt, like, it was Ben for me and for him it was Aunt May. It was like the other way around situation. But that was, I mean, it was touching. It was cool. The fact that he had them to hug, in that situation was great because now, Spider-Man, this Peter Parker, isn't the high school no more. Now he's in college. Nobody remembers him. That's another thing I got to talk about, right? Nobody remembers him. And he's an adult. And he has to do it all on his own. And what makes it special is the little things that I disliked about, the the new Spider-Man trilogy is this Spider-Man always needing to be this underling to Iron Man or something like that. It works so well now, especially those movies as an origin to a brand new trilogy. Please God, Sony, don't do it by yourself because you will fuck it up. It works for the new trilogy where it's Spider-Man. You know, Joey Jonah Jameson there hating. You gonna have the thrill of getting with Mary Jane. That's gonna be mad cool, mad fun. Even though he left it like he wasn't gonna do nothing right now because every time I involve people I love with the Spider-Man shit, they end up dying. So I love this girl too much. He saw the scar on her head. He was like, I'm just leave it alone. I thought that was beautiful, and so real. And that's another thing with this movie. I love the fact that they balance the levity and the real moments so damn good. So damn good. I like that. Yeah, this Spider-Man, especially with the way it ended with him in the classic Spider-Man suit that he made himself, I'm like, that's Spider-Man right there. And I want that Spider-Man movie so bad. And I'm like, Marvel, man, we don't need, we could do Spider-Man movies every other year. It's fine. I mean, not even every other year, back to back. It'd be Amazing Spider-Man, this Spider-Man, And then you got this Spider-Man who connects with the greater MCU, and then you got standalone Spider-Man that Sony could choose to fuck up over there. Perfect. But I'm dead serious. But even though I want that movie, The Amazing Spider-Man, if they do a new one, I want it to be great and I want it to be good. And I want it to be about him finding his Mary Jane and him, finding joy. And it's stemming from the events of No Way Home. Like, that would be such a good movie. Honestly, that movie is even better than a sequel to Tom Holland's Spider-Man. It's like, I never would have thought I want both so bad, but I do. Because I want to see real Spider-Man that's going to be interacting with mutants and Blade and all these cool Marvel characters. But then, Spider-Man, just New York City, nitty gritty, dealing with Kraven the Hunter and stuff, crazy stuff like that. Like, that's cool. Like, that's mad cool. And him having his Mary Jane, who she's probably, the actress and all that. Because I feel like Zendaya's Mary Jane is going to become something way cooler. Like, like a politician who's really gonna like help the planet and do all kinds of cool shit. Like, that's what I feel from her version. Which I really liked her version in this one. And I guess I should focus on the action right now. That building scene with Green Goblin and Spider-Man, that was the best fighting you ever seen of Spider-Man, period. I don't care what nobody say. I'm speaking for everybody. That was fire. One shot in this movie that wasn't even action, but may as well have been the best action scene in the movie, because what I felt when I was watching it, I was like, this is Spider-Man. This is visually heaven to me as a kid who grew up collecting Spider-Man cards, playing Spider-Man games like Carnage on Super Nintendo and all that, And oh my God, the 90s cartoon. That shot when he was swinging through all the telephone poles before Electro comes out and everything, and it was just Spider-Man swinging. Like, honestly, they could do 5 minutes straight of just Spider-Man swinging and not spread throughout a 2-hour movie. I mean, literally start the timer, 5 straight minutes, and it's just Spider-Man swinging, and I would enjoy it. And that quality, I would enjoy it. It's the reason why people play games, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, that was awesome. And the imagery, I was like, yo, that's a wallpaper, that's a screensaver, this is fire, this is amazing, this is beautiful. They doing it. Like, they doing it. And the director of this movie actually gonna take a break, he said, from superhero movies. I was like, that's disappointing to hear. But whoever they get got big shoes to fill, because that director, he really made beautiful scenery. Dude, what blew me away, and this is what I love about the MCU. And just to be clear, like, because I'm doing this podcast now, I didn't, love phase 1 of the MCU. I enjoyed it because I'm seeing, all these superheroes that I love come to life on the full screen, but obviously on the big screen. But obviously, I had my own issues with it. I wish they would have did it like this. I wish they would have did it like that. But it's been so many years now, and then you can see how shit could have went when you look at the DC side, which I was loving everything up until, well, y'all know the train wreck in 2016. Everything up to that, I was like, yo, fire. Everything is great. Everything is great. Y'all darker than Marvel. Y'all doing what y'all doing, and y'all doing it well. And then they was like, no, we rather do 1984 instead of doing epic shit like Warrior Wonder Woman from 1. And I'm like, all right, y'all can keep that trash. So when you can see what it can become, how they could treat their directors and all the nonsense, and us having to beg for a Snyder cut that was a trillion times better than what those suits over there try to put out and pass off as a Justice League movie. Like, y'all gonna have to live with that forever. That was your first Justice League movie. Embarrassing. Y'all chose that. Anyway, I never actually seen that first Justice League movie. I've only seen the Snyder cut. God bless myself for that. Yeah. So I say all this to say what I love about the MCU right now, especially this phase, because I love Shang-Chi. I thought that was a fun ass movie. And Eternals was mad cool with crazy cool themes. And I love that they had the Celestial come out the planet. And it gave the world textures. Like, we had the blip. Everything in Marvel is affected by it. People reference it and you know what they mean. And it's an event worthy of being included across an entire universe. Versus people making wishes in the end of Wonder Woman, which everybody would have remembered after 84, and they would have remembered in Man of Steel. It's just so damn bad. Oh my God, Wonder Woman 84, goddamn. But anyway, the blip is great, right? Celestial hand. So that means if you got a scene where it's like a plane flying scene in the middle or whatever the case may be, you can see that in the background of another movie in the Marvel universe. That's what I like, right? I like that the universe feels real, feels whole now because of the, decade of content that they had. The Statue of Liberty, me as a New Yorker, seeing the Statue of Liberty with the Captain America, like the I was gonna say the flag, the Captain America shield. I thought that was so cool. I'm like, look, this is the texture I'm talking about that the MCU has. Like, the Superman statue was fire because, yeah, after saving the world, makes sense. They made a statue in his name. Perfect. Hell, they should make another one after he saved the world. What now? Twice? After the first movie? So he's going to save the world 3 times. People like, who did Henry Cavill Superman save? Everybody. Multiple times. Want to try again? Anyway, the statue was cool. And I was like, yeah, they were, I was like, that was cool. They were building texture into this world. And now Marvel's doing it in their way, and I love that. So the Spider-Man scene taking place up there, that whole ending fight, with Green Goblin and everything, that was crazy. When Spider-Man got stabbed, OG Spider-Man, my girl was like, oh my God, they better not have killed my favorite Spider-Man. I was like, this dude heals like Wolverine. That shit ain't killing him. I wasn't worried at all. That's how he was good. I was like, yeah, that's Spider-Man, man. Like, and that's OG Spider-Man. This is the one who don't gotta make no spider webs. That scene was mad funny. Where it was like, yo, how you do that? Like, so you telling me it just coming? Like, that's crazy. And he's like, yeah, y'all don't got this? And I was like, yo, that's why you the real one. But nah, they all real Spider-Man. But I was like, yo, that's mad cool. The other funny line I liked was when, I think, who was it? It was Electro. I know it was Jamie Foxx. He was talking to Sandman, I think. And I think they were talking about how the shit happened to them. And he was like, oh yeah, I fell into this, blah, 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 I fell into this. And then Jamie Foxx was like, yo, you got to watch where you fall. And I was dying because I was like, yo, that shit applies to Joker. That shit applies to Mr. Freeze. That's just a comic trope. So I thought that was mad funny to actually have in the movie because you actually have all these characters interacting. Well, how did it happen to them? They fell. It's like, yo, you got to watch where you fall. I was actually dying when he said that shit because I thought that was mad funny. But it's Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is a funny dude, you know what I'm saying? Since the Jamie Foxx show. What else? Man, I enjoyed the villains. Just to be clear, I enjoyed the villains. And the future is bright of Spider-Man, and the MCU as a whole. And I say of Spider-Man because it depends what Spider-Man you want to do. If Sam Raimi decides, yeah, I ain't going to do another Doctor Strange. Let's do this brand new Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man 4. I'm going to be down. Like, that's awesome. Go. Do it. I'll take all the Spider-Man. They're going to be like, oh, they milking Spider-Man. I'm like, I can't talk. They be milking Super Mario, and I'll be loving it. Mario Kart, 3D Mario, 2D Mario, that sport game Mario. And now I'm like, yo, I love Mario. I play Mario games. I enjoy Spider-Man. If you make mad good Spider-Man movies, I'm going to watch. You think I'm going to be mad if they be like, yeah, we're going to do a Spider-Man show? I want that. Like, honestly, because I do love the Into the Spider-Verse movies, and I know they're making 2 of them back to back right now, which is great because that first one was amazing. But I hope after that we definitely get a No Way Home like situation where we can get that Spider-Man in the MCU. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would like that to actually happen because it did feel. And I know why it didn't happen because, this was a celebration of the old movies. And the day I watched this was the 20th anniversary of Spider-Man, the first movie. But, yeah, I would like, them to do Miles Morales in the next movies and stuff like that. Well, in the future movies in the MCU, and they don't even got to do like I say, a No Way Home style thing, but you don't got to do like Doctor Strange opening portals. Nah, I wanted to be a kid from the MCU. You know what I'm saying? Who becomes Miles Morales? Like, well, he is Miles Morales, but who becomes that Spider-Man? Like, that's what I want to happen, and that'll be mad cool. And then imagine having like a buddy cop movie, but it's a Spider-Man movie, which this technically was. Like, that'd be super cool. Like, to know that there's multiple Spider-Mans now in the MCU, in the actual, in that timeline. The Venom Easter egg, that's the one thing I didn't understand because I didn't see Venom 2. So I was like, that's it? Is that the way we're going to get the symbiote in the MCU? He left a little bit behind. If that's the case, cool. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind that. That's cool. Because that actually allows Tom Hardy to do the voice of Venom in the MCU, but there could actually be a different Eddie Brock. Or it could be the same Eddie Brock. He could find the Eddie Brock of that universe. But because Venom voice is, Bane Man, always making weird voices in movies. So that's another weird voice that he actually does. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Tom Hardy will be in the MCU. I actually saw a report today, the day I'm recording this, which is Saturday, the 14th of May, that the original choice for, spoiler alert, Mr. Fantastic in Doctor Strange 2, which I haven't even seen, but it was spoiled for me. So, hey, spoiler. So Marvel talking about it. It was going to be Daniel Craig. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, that's cool. That would have actually been really cool. As a fan of James Bond, I would have thought that was awesome. Because as it stands right now, or they could have just got the original Fantastic Four dude. That would have been mad cool and kill him off. And then we would have had Krasinski in the actual main Fantastic Four movie, which I don't know if that's going to be the case. I don't know. I ain't worried about it. I'm looking forward to it because I'm looking forward to mutants really coming into the MCU. I'm looking forward to Wolverine and some, burgundy and yellow, or dark brown and yellow, however you want to put it. It's dark brown. It's not burgundy. It's dark brown. Sometimes it be looking burgundy, though. But, yeah, in his actual suit, like that would be a dream come true for me. Actually, speaking of MCU, August is when She-Hulk is coming out, so we can look forward to that. Just to mention that real quick. That's the rumor on the streets right now, on the MCU streets. Yeah, man, but Spider-Man was super fun. Super fun. And it continues with this phase of the MCU being my favorite. This is my favorite phase. And I find it hilarious that so many MCU fans now are acting like this phase isn't all that. And I'm like, are y'all just saying that because of the different Captain America, the fact that Iron Man is dead? Because I'm like, this phase is fire. And this phase isn't even done. We're going to get Blade in this phase. So I'm happy, you know what I'm saying? 100% happy with it. So, yeah, let me know what you thought of Spider-Man No Way Home. And if I spoil you Doctor Strange for you, my bad. I ain't mean to. It wasn't intentional. I promise you that. But, yeah, let me know what you thought of all the topics that I talked about on this podcast. And if you're watching this for the very first time, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, bell, notification, all that, so you can be notified when I drop new videos. And if you want to support the recipe, make sure to hit the link in the description. Join the Patreon. You'll get these podcasts early. You'll get video game podcasts early. And everything I do basically early, and access to the Discord and things like that. So, yeah, until the next one, thanks for tuning in. Peace.